gap down and closed the gap. So it took the entire day, but it happened. The news clearly doesn't affect the market participants. We rejected the lows from the 35 HVN, bouncing off it to the long side. So the expected behavior now would be a new high and then a test of 45, which is the current weekly point of control. Yesterday wasn't, I'm not 100% sure if I think that happened already. It did kind of happen. If you look at this, chart, I guess I would say that already happened, but it wouldn't bother me if it happened again. We were rejected down here, pushed to the point of control to the high side, tested it. Now the overnight is pushed higher, so and that left that point of, or set that point of control there. So technically, I would say that's happened, but it wouldn't bother me if it happened again. I wouldn't count that as like an invalid test. Yesterday wasn't overly bullish, but we kind of drifted higher. If we don't reject this area quickly back higher, I'd expect us to set up a structure here. The low was very clear. So what I'm saying there is just that, making it to the previous Friday's point of control and then rejecting back into this range could set us up a structure. That's basically what I'm trying to say there. In the weekly, we're in an LVA location, and we should be here a little while until a true HVN forms. If you look at this, you can see it's very clear. We're in this LVA right here. So if we reject this area, that's fine. But I'm basically thinking that we may be here just a little while. We're currently in the 12-6 structure. Yesterday's profile was tri-modal with the point of control in the neutral mode. The expected behavior is a test of that point of control followed by a new high of day. Overnight did that. If it doesn't happen, then I expect a test of the upper KLVN and a failure through that point of control, and then a test of 33.5. That did not happen in the overnight. Overnight profile is bimodal with an unmigrated point of control. At the time I wrote that, it's very likely to migrate to the upper mode. It actually did that already. Yesterday we opened just below the 55 SMA and rejected it higher on the overnight point of control. The overnight POC migrated up to beyond yesterday's high of day and then sold off, making it back to yesterday's point of control, driving it back down, and then pushing it higher again. So being in the lower mode at the beginning of this morning is interesting because it was actually in the higher mode at first. So that's a clear sign of balance in the Euric session. We're back into last week's range. Yesterday's range broke the weekly low, and so did the overnight as well. We're holding above it, clues of a return to balance of the area above us. The expected behavior is a test of the upper KLVN and a move higher. So not making it to the point of control. Or we make it to the point of control and then test higher. With volatility being what it is, we could see a 10-point move down and then a complete reversal through the open. That wouldn't surprise me in the least. We're likely to open the upper KLVN of the current week, which is the lower KLVN of the end of last week's close, and the overnight point of control finally migrated. Now we're getting above that, should be significant short term. So basically, current opening looks to be like a gap up in that KLVN from 124. As we suggested, gap rule suggests a test of the half gap and then impulse through the open. Of course, if that doesn't happen, then I would be thinking this. Tight opening auction, point of control shifting around, and then finally doesn't shift, and then we break in the direction it didn't shift to. Go with the break. Wide open auction, same as above. Immediate impulse from the open long, get long as soon as possible. Immediate impulse from the open short, scalp short if we can, but expect to test that point of control. All targets are in this 21 ADR range. Targets above 63.7 and 70.8. Targets below is 45.1 and 33.5. That is the rut for this morning.